I tested 45 frying pans, and in this video, I give you my honest review of each pan in less than 15 seconds. These pans range from $20 to $661, and I'll be reviewing them in order from least to most expensive. At the end, I'll give you my top picks and a comparison table that shows how they all stack up side by side. Before I get started, one quick thing. Throughout each review, you'll see an info card with key specs and results from heat conduction and retention tests I do with each pan. I measure heat conduction by recording the time it takes to boil 2 cups of water, and I measure heat retention by removing the boiling water from the heat and measuring the water temperature after 10 minutes. Without further ado, let's get started. The Faberware Classic frying pan is thin, lightweight, and doesn't hold heat well. The plastic handle is short and can't go above 350 degrees Fahrenheit in the oven. Unless budget is your #1 priority, don't buy this pan. The Lodge Classic cast iron skillet is one of the best values in cookware. It's thick and heavy and holds heat well, it comes pre-seasoned, and it's made in the USA. Some complain that the rough surface causes food to stick, but I haven't had that issue. Do not buy the Blue Diamond pan. It's thin and lightweight, and because of that, it doesn't maintain a steady temperature. The handle feels cheap, and the ceramic non-stick coating doesn't last long. Henckles Hexagon is a hybrid pan with raised steel protecting the non-stick coating underneath from scratches. It's a decent all-purpose pan that sears meat well and cooks eggs without sticking. You'll eventually need to replace this pan, but it's affordable and lasts longer than a typical non-stick pan. Ninja is being sued for false advertising because it claims this pan is heated to 30,000 degrees Fahrenheit during manufacturing, which is hotter than the surface of the sun and defies the laws of physics. I don't know the truth, but this small egg pan has been good to me, and the coating has held up well in the first year. Circulon's big differentiator is the circular pattern on the cooking surface called the total non-stick system. The raised parts are supposed to protect the lower parts from scratching. In my experience, all they do is cause food to stick and make the pan more difficult to clean. All-Clad Essentials has a thick, hard anodized aluminum body, slick non-stick coating, a comfortable handle, and steep sides. It's the perfect pan for a fluffy omelet or grilled cheese. The main downside is that it's not compatible with induction cooktops. This is the sleeker version of Lodge Classic. It's thinner, lighter, the sides have a more gradual slope, and the handle is a ½ inch longer. If you like Lodge, but the Classic is too heavy, the Chef Collection is an excellent option. The Calphalon cast iron skillet is thick, heavy, retains heat well, and doesn't cost much. However, for the same price or less, you can get an American-made Lodge skillet that performs the same but has a longer handle and a larger helper handle. The Goldilocks frying pan has the same materials, construction, and thickness of brands like All-Clad and Made In, but it costs a fraction of the price. The flat handle won't rotate when you tilt the pan, but I wish it was a little thicker. There's not much to grab onto, especially if you're wearing an oven mitt. I've used the Misen Non-Stick pan daily for several years, and the handle is comfortable, it heats fast and evenly, and food doesn't stick. Over time, the surface got scratched and worn down, but that's expected given the heavy use. Zwilling Motion has thick walls which help it retain heat well and prevent warping, and the 2.3-inch sidewalls are taller than average, so you can fit more food in this pan. The downside is that the 3-pronged handle is annoying to clean, and there's no steel base plate, so you can't use this pan on an induction cooktop. Legend Copper Core is listed as a frying pan, but it's shaped more like a sauté pan. The tall sides are almost completely vertical. It's sturdy and cooks evenly, but at 5.5 pounds, it's the heaviest stainless steel pan I've tested. Only buy it if you can handle its weight. Caraway pans are beautiful and colorful, and according to Caraway, are safer for you and the environment. But in my experience, the ceramic non-stick coating doesn't hold up and the exterior coating chips and flakes. It's a nice looking pan at first, but don't expect the beauty or performance to last. Misen Stainless Steel offers the same materials, construction, and performance as much more established brands, but costs much less and has sealed rims that won't get sharp or delaminate. It has a comfortable handle, a brushed exterior, and a fair price tag. All-Clad HA1 cooks evenly, retains heat well, and food doesn't stick. It also has a steel plate on the bottom to make it compatible with induction cooktops. The main downside is the cup-shaped handle. It locks your hand in place, but it's uncomfortable and the edges can dig into your hand. The Sardel frying pan has flared rims for drip-free pouring, and like Misen, the edges are sealed. The long 9-inch handle provides plenty of room to grip, but it's rounded. When your hand is wet or greasy, the handle can slip or rotate in your hand. The Heritage Steel Eater Series frying pan is made in the USA. It has a brushed exterior that hides fingerprints, flared rims, and a comfortable handle that's flat on top and won't rotate in your hand. It's a solid performing pan with no obvious flaws. The Anolon X frying pan has a steel mesh that keeps oil centered for better searing and caramelization, flush rivets for easy cleaning, and a flat handle that's comfortable and secure. The downside is that the walls are thin and therefore it doesn't retain heat well. Made-in carbon steel has thin walls that make it highly responsive to temperature changes. Based on my testing, it's the second fastest pan to heat up. However, the flat handle isn't the most comfortable, and it's angled 4.5 inches high, so you need extra space to fit it between oven racks. NS Pro is the upgraded version of All-Clad HA1. It has a more comfortable handle, flared rims, more sloped sidewalls, and a longer-lasting non-stick coating with a ceramic plasma bonding layer. At 2.2 millimeters, the walls of the Great Jones stainless steel pan are thinner than average. As a result, it's one of the worst performing pans in my heat retention test. Although the looped handle looks nice, it's not comfortable and it's a pain to clean. Cooksy is almost the exact same as HexClad and Henckles Hexagon. It has a hybrid cooking surface with raised steel hexagons to prevent scratches. The main difference is that the handle is thicker and it's welded instead of riveted, so you get an uninterrupted cooking surface. The made-in pan is listed as a 12-inch pan, but measures 13 inches from rim to rim because it has a large, flared rim. It reminds me of Heritage Steel Eater with its brushed exterior and comfortable and secure handle, but according to my tests, it retains heat much better. The Xtrema pan is made of pure ceramic. It's healthy, chemical-free cookware. However, it's the slowest heating pan I've tested. Food sticks, it's difficult to clean, and it can shatter if you drop it. I want to like this pan because of its natural materials, but the performance is not good. I've used the Heritage Steel titanium frying pan for many years, and it heats evenly, retains heat well, and the titanium reinforced steel resists pitting. The only thing I don't like is that the handle is rounded on the bottom, and like the Sardel handle, it can slip and rotate in your hand. The Misen Non-Stick pan has the same 5-ply stainless steel construction as Misen's steel pans, but it also has a multi-layer non-stick coating. Performance-wise, it's excellent, but the price is high for a non-stick pan you'll eventually need to replace. The Our Place Always pan claims to be a 10-in-1 all-purpose pan, but in reality, it's an overpriced aluminum pan with a ceramic non-stick coating, wood spatula, and shallow steamer basket. This is on my list of pans you should never buy. Stargzer cast iron is more expensive than Lodge, but it has a smoother surface, longer handle, wider helper handle, and flared rims. If those features are appealing to you, it's well worth the investment. The Caraway stainless steel frying pan responds quickly when you turn the heat up and down, but it has below average heat retention, straight rims, and the handle was dented when I took it out of the box. HexClad is a polarizing brand with aggressive marketing claims. I've used it for several years, and although it's expensive, it sears well, food doesn't stick when the surface is greased, and the steel hexagons keep the coating intact for longer. However, the rounded handles get slippery. Demeyere Industry has a beautiful brushed exterior, a rivetless handle, gently sloped walls, and flared rims. The handle has a wide fork at the end which disperses heat and keeps it cool. It's a well-designed pan with ideal weight, thickness, and handle length. All-Clad D3 is a well-rounded pan that conducts and retains heat well, but the key feature is the handle. The deep groove locks your hand in place and prevents slipping when tilting the pan, but it's not comfortable. Only buy this pan if you're a fan of the handle. D3 Everyday is the upgraded version of D3. All-Clad redesigned the handle, making it longer and much more comfortable, with a rounded bottom and a subtle indentation on top. All-Clad G5 Graphite Core is one of the lightest frying pans I've used, and based on my testing, it's one of the fastest to heat and respond to temperature changes. However, it doesn't retain heat well, and you need to pay close attention to avoid burning and overcooking your food. Smithey is expensive for a cast iron pan, but it has a smooth surface that prevents sticking. It also has a thick bottom that holds heat incredibly well, which is ideal for searing and browning. My one complaint is that the initial seasoning quickly wears off, so you need to re-season it right away. Field is a pricey but well-designed cast iron skillet. It's optimized for performance and maneuverability. The surface is smooth, but not too smooth that the seasoning can't stick. The handle is long, but they removed excess material underneath that would add to the weight. They also made the helper handle small and skipped pour spouts that don't work well anyway. 360 Cookware is made in the USA and it cooks well, but it's incredibly expensive, doesn't offer any advantages over less expensive brands like Made In and Heritage Steel, and has a goofy looking helper handle that's too long but not wide enough to fit my hand. All-Clad D5 has the same cup-shaped handles as D3, but the handle is an inch longer, the exterior is brushed instead of polished, and it heats slower due to its thin steel core. If you accidentally turn the heat too high, it won't immediately burn the food. The Hestan ProBond TITUM non-stick pan heats fast and evenly, retains heat well, nothing sticks, the flush rivets are easy to clean, and the handle is long and comfortable. However, the price is absurd, and the large hanging loop at the end of the handle forces you to choke up to get a firm grip. All-Clad copper core is similar to All-Clad D5, but the handle is longer at almost 9.5 inches, the exterior is polished, and instead of a thin steel core, it has a thick copper core. The copper results in fast, even heating, but it makes this pan heavy and much more pricey. At 5.5 millimeters, Demeyere Atlantis is the thickest stainless steel pan I've ever used. It cooks like cast iron, but doesn't require the seasoning or maintenance. Because it retains heat so well, it's incredible for searing meats like steaks and salmon. One warning, the welded handle can break off. It's rare, but it happened to me. Hestan Copper Bond heats fast and evenly and has a long, comfortable handle, a wide cooking surface, and flared rims. But due to the copper, it's heavy, doesn't retain heat well, and the exterior tarnishes after just one cook. Hestan Nano Bond has thousands of titanium nano layers bonded to the steel. This gives it a blue tint, a silky texture, and makes the steel harder and more resistant to scratches. I've also found that it makes the pan less likely to stick. I love everything about this pan except the high price. The Matfer copper pan heats incredibly fast and cooks evenly, but it's heavy, there's a space between the pan and the handle where moisture and bacteria can harbor, and it costs half a month's rent. That was a lot of information, so let's look at all the pans side by side. A few things jump out to me when looking at all the data. Pans with thin walls, less than 3 millimeters, tend to heat faster, but struggle to retain heat. Similarly, pans with copper heat up fast, but lose their heat quickly. Thicker pans tend to heat slower, but retain heat the best. Stainless steel pans advertised as 5-ply are not thicker than pans advertised as 3-ply. Both are about 2.9 millimeters thick on average. The flat cooking surface of most pans is 76% of the pan's diameter from rim to rim. Lodge, Legend, Smithey, Field, and All-Clad HA1 have the largest cooking surfaces. The flat part of those pans is over 80% of the total diameter. Lastly, price doesn't correlate with better heat conduction or retention. So which of these pans are worth buying and which should you avoid? In the non-stick category, Hestan, ProBond, TITUM, All-Clad NS Pro, and Made In perform the best, but are also much more expensive than I recommend spending on non-stick. NeverStick, All-Clad Essentials, Zwilling Motion, and Misen are all good lower cost options. Avoid Caraway, Our Place Always Pan, Blue Diamond, and Circulon Symmetry. They're either too expensive, the non-stick coating wears out fast, or both. And although Smithey, Stargzer, and Field make excellent high-end cast iron pans with smooth cooking surfaces, you can't beat the price and overall value of Lodge Classic. Stainless steel is the most challenging category to pick because there are so many great options, but Demeyere Atlantis and Hestan Nanobond stand out. Demeyere because of its super thick construction and superior heat retention, and Hestan because it has the toughest and smoothest surface I've ever used. If you're willing to splurge, those are the two I'd buy. But if you want to spend a little less and still get excellent performance, Made In, All-Clad D3 Everyday, Demeyere Industry, and both Heritage Steel collections are more practical options. If budget is your top priority, Goldilocks and Misen are the best low-cost options. The only stainless steel pans I would avoid are Faberware Classic and Great Jones. If you want to learn more about these pans, I'll link to the comparison chart and websites that sell each pan in the video description. Those are affiliate links, so I'll earn a commission if you click and buy, but at no extra cost to you. If this was helpful, check out this video where I break down the differences between All-Clad and Demeyere. And for more videos like this, click the logo to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.